All right, so I thought I'd just come add a little bit to this video, maybe to start off with, but just to give you an idea of me sticking with my do-it-yourself theme. I did a do-it-yourself paint booth in the garage here, so you can kind of stand back and see here. I got werewolf sitting here outside of the quote-unquote paint booth. But I thought I'd get a nice outside shot of this because I wasn't sure I recorded that in any of the video anywhere. So you can see this is over in the paint booth area is where werewolf usually sits. And I got it all running up to my shelving, and I got my workbench up ahead of the shelving there. You can kind of see kind of a mess in here right now, but all my shelving with parts and stuff on it on the far side, you can kind of see it through the plastic. There's my shelving along the other side and the other garage door here. So just to kind of give you an idea, it's a pretty good sized do-it-yourself paint booth. And I'll get into some details about that and walking through what I did here. I did get some inspiration from like do-it-yourself guys, just looking different things up on YouTube. If I had more of a dedicated workshop space, I would have done up like a full 2x4 framework and just securely mounted this plastic to that framework. But I have to use this workshop area as a multi-purpose area, whether it's going to be painting or just the regular fabrication work for the cars and maintenance work and so on and so forth. So this is what and I'll walk you through what I came up with for my do-it-yourself paint booth. All right, thought I'd show working on getting a paint booth set up. So I made these frames. I got some box fans, 20-inch box fans that'll fit right in those two, sitting right here. Here's another one that I got made up already. So as you can see, I got it cut out there, and I actually took both sides of the box fan off and actually screwed the box fan so that's in this fixture. And I need to get some more screws and then screw them on there. So this one will go on the other side of the door. These two will go here, or two more fans will go here. And then the door will seal right down on the top of them. Then I got some poly that'll hang around all four sides and hang above there. And that'll be kind of the gist of it for painting. Oh, and I got some furnace filters there and there that'll go on the side that's on the suck side of the fan where it blows out of the doors there. And yeah, and I'll come back and show a little more later. But I haven't had much time in the garage tonight, but I thought I'd show what little progress I have. So as you can see here, I got two fans set up here with filters on the back of them. So that's what's going to be at the front of my paint booth. And then here's my nice framework with three fans back here to suck wind out. I thought this was kind of cool with the lights on. They kind of glow blue with those filters on them. So I thought that was kind of a neat little touch. That's my progress for tonight. Got that done, got those done. Next I got some PVC tube over on the other side of Mama's car there. And I'm gonna build something here and hang PVC tube from the ceiling, cut out some squares for that, kind of tape it to the front of that. And then have it all along the side here. Probably like right along in this vicinity here, going to the back of the garage, and then over here, probably about in this vicinity here, or maybe a little bit closer to where that railing is for the garage door. We'll get some stuff out of the way, get some PVC with poly hanging from it, hung from the ceiling. That's gonna be the paint booth. All right, I should have been recording more of this. So the last thing I showed was my little filter boxes for the back. We got everything out of this side of the shop. So this is gonna be our makeshift paint booth. And I'm kind of wondering if I should have went with a heavier, bigger PVC tube. This stuff's pretty flexible, but I don't know if you can see it too well here. But I ran and put hooks in just sheetrock, thinking it doesn't have to be that sturdy in the drywall, the sheetrock in the ceiling, and ran it all the way around and across up here for my 4 walls. And I got some PVC tube here and put it all together the way I think I need it. Owen's got some of his doors scuffed up on the inside and ready to go. And he picked up some paint and primer and reducer and all that stuff today. Then I got just some poly from Menards, our local Menards. So I'm going to roll that out and just kind of fold the top edge up and over and tape it on with some Gorilla tape and run it all along here. So that's about a 20-foot section, and then it's about 13 feet across on each end. So I'll basically have a 20 by 13 paint booth here. But this will be plenty big for painting that car and the GTI. So we're gonna give it a shot, see how it goes. We'll basically go right up to this workbench and all the way back to the garage door. So I think that's roughly about 24 feet. So I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna try to get that poly up there and see how this goes. All right, playing a little catch up on my recording here. So I got my walls of my paint booth hung up. So like I shown before, I got little hooks in the ceiling, and I just used some 1/2-inch PVC tube, which is really skimpy, but like it really bowed down, and I just started at like one end and hooked it up there and hooked it together in the corner and just worked my way down and around and around and just kind of put it all up and hooked it up. So that's 12-foot wide poly sheets, and I just took some Gorilla tape, and there was like a little 4-inch, 3-inch flap up at the top or one end or whatever. So I just looped that over the end and pulled the plastic out of the way and just ran Gorilla tape all the way along. So you can kind of see it there, and it's folded over. And then I thought, well, I still need to be able to open the garage door, so I just used some string and tied them up in a few spots. And then the plan is we'll paint the doors first. So we'll let the walls drape down, and then I'll probably tape them together a little bit where they overlap. So I have it overlapping each direction. So each wall basically has about an extra 6-8 inches of material. So I can overlap them on the ends and tape them together. And then we'll just let that all hang. We'll tape that together. And then when we want to open the garage door again, we'll just have to pull up a section nearest the garage door so that we can pull the car in after we paint the inside of the doors, get the doors mounted on the car, and then paint that driver's side of the car. Owen went over to Napa and got some paint on everything all mixed up. So we got, what do we got, a quart? Yeah, a quart of paint and reducer and everything. So they told us 1/2 gallon should be enough to paint the side of the car. So I hope that's right. I think we should be good. Worst comes to worst, we'll go get another quart of paint. But I think we have pretty much everything we need now to paint the driver's side of his car, including the paint booth setup. I think I showed this before, but just in case I didn't record it, I did set up a little dryer setup, so I still need to put the desiccant in the dryer bowls here. But I got a valve at the air compressor, and I got it running over here to a pressure regulator with the dryer. Hopefully we'll have some dry air over this weekend or coming up to Labor Day weekend. So yeah, and I got a brand new hose, so I'm going to use brand new hose off of there instead of one that's had all sorts of crap run through it. So hopefully that'll all be good and all work out. You can see the hose sitting up there on the parts cleaner. But yeah, that's that. I'll show it again when we drop the walls. All right, ladies and germs, we got the paint booth done. So that worked really good. Just untied all the strings and it dropped right down to the floor. I got a little overlap on the floor. Learned some lessons here. I probably shouldn't have trimmed. I trimmed off about the bottom 2 feet of this section here. So now I got a little bit of a gap here. But luckily this is kind of on the outlet side. And this side actually had a gap on. So I put another piece just kind of over it to help protect from getting overspray that way. Luckily I'm not as concerned about the Mustang. At least the wheels are covered. That's the only thing I'm really concerned about there. But it shouldn't really affect anything. And I did hose it all down in here and squeegee it out so there's no dust on the floor. And Barney is very upset because he can't get to me right now.
Feels massive.
Yeah, it does feel big in here. But Owen did a good job of getting fender cleaned up, doors cleaned up. So we're gonna work on doing like a final wipe down, getting a paint gun set up and all that good stuff. So wish us luck. We should be spraying here. It's about 3:20 in the afternoon. Hopefully we'll be spraying in the next hour-ish. So just thought I'd show that to you, show everyone. So it's all plastic all the way around. I did tape around the fans there a little bit, but it does feel pretty decent in here once you get the fans on. I turned them off for a second. Yeah, Barney's really upset that he can't get to me. No, Barney, Poor guy. But feeling pretty good about where I'm at right now. I've always wanted to do this kind of stuff, and it's kind of one of them things that was, you know, the first time doing anything is scary, so I can't say I'm not scared a little bit, but how else are you going to figure it out other than by doing it? This is our first time. And be kind to us, we're learning. Yeah, Barney's still really unsure about it. But I thought I'd do one last... Oh, he came in. Hey, shop dog. So I thought I'd do one last update on the paint booth that we got set up here, my DIY paint booth. So I think it's working out pretty good. I did come back out here. When we were putting primer down, I basically wetted the floor down and it actually helped quite a bit. There is some spots where like some primer stuck to the floor, but I'm not gonna sweat it and work out here enough that that stuff will probably pop off the floor pretty quick. But as you can see here, I just got one side lifted up. I wetted it down and just tried to mop a bunch of stuff out of here. So there's a floor drain underneath the Mustang right there. But yeah, we got some primer laid down on these. I'm not happy with how it looks. We're gonna have to sand it down, scuff it back down, take some of the texture. We got some texture in the primer is what ended up happening. But I got some pointers from a body shop buddy of mine, and we're gonna attack these again when my son gets home. He's at a mountain bike race again today, so it's the Sunday before Labor Day. So the wife and I are just gonna make another run to Harbor Freight, get some more, we went through some of the universal paint system kits or whatever, so which was pretty nice. Mix it right in there, pop it onto the paint gun and just let it rip. But I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. You can tell there's some overspray on the walls, like you get a little gray dust on your fingers and you can kind of see that in the wall there. So I think it's doing what it needs to do. You can tell there's primer particles on the filters there. I think it might have blown a little bit of dirt, and what I should have done is I had an old fan there, but I'm not gonna move it now. But that thing's pretty dirty. Probably should have just got another new fan instead of using that to blow dirt, basically. But I think it ended up pretty well. You can tell like this was the closest to it, and there's a couple spots of dirt in the primer that you can see some bumps there. What do you think, Shop Dog? But all in all, pretty happy with how it turned out. So I'll upload a video here just about my little makeshift paint booth, just the first experience with it. Then I'll probably do something extra for actual paint job on for the Volkswagen doors here and the body work for that. So I'll come back to that later.